Hello everyone, I'm Kalen North, and today we're going to be talking about basic strategy for the spirit Serpent slumbering beneath the island. In order to show off Serpent's capabilities, I really wanted to do this as a two-player game, and so joining me today is John of the Kindred Spirit podcast. Welcome!
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks again for coming back on. We haven't scared you away yet.
Not at all. No, this is a blast. I can't wait.
John's going to be playing one of his favorites. He's going to be on Shadows this game, and we're going to try and show off some of Serpent's ability to be supportive as a result. So, we'll be doing...
And Shadows loves the support, so.
Yeah, Shadows does love the support. Serpent's support doesn't really give as much energy. I mean, Gift of Flowing Power gives 1, and Absorb Essence gives 1, but it's not the same as like a Tidal Boon or a Boon of Vigor that really can let Shadows do their own thing. Instead, we're going to be sort of gifting cards, we're going to be occasionally gifting an extra play perhaps, and definitely gifting you elements. So we'll see how to best... We'll hopefully be able to take good advantage of that in this game and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like other basic strategy videos, I've got Branch and Claw and events turned off for this one. So you won't be seeing events. We're going to try and just focus on what the spirits can do on their own. All right. So, Invaders start in the Sands, which is a little obnoxious for Serpent, actually. Some of that is because we'd really like to Aegis both of those lands on turn 2, but we are going to have to reclaim cards if we want to get presence into land 4, which is Blighted. But we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get to turn 2. So, I'm going to minimize Serpent's screen so you can see Serpent and Shadows. John, I've asked John to play a fairly standard Shadows game. We're not going to see everything he's doing with his growth options. But, as usual, if there's weird things that happen or questions you have about what he's doing, let us know in the comments below and we'll try and answer them. For Serpent... Oh, sorry?
I was just going to say, I'm just going to do a growth 3. So, yeah, very standard turn 1 for Shadows.
Yeah, are you likely to do a growth 2 on turn 2, though? Or are you going to spam growth 3?
I think I'll do, growth 3 and then growth 2. I like getting cards.
Okay. Similarly, I'm probably going to be playing Gift of the Primordial Deeps on him turn 1 in order to get him an extra power card. And then he can either play it or get an element. Which could potentially free up his growth options if he wants, but I don't know if he's going to do that or if he's just going to go for the 3-card plays.
We'll see. I don't know. Wild card.
All right. Serpent's going to open up with a mix of growth 2 and 4. We don't really need our energy spike this early in the game, and we definitely don't want to reclaim just to move our presence. So I'm going to go ahead and gain a new power card for Serpent, and I'm going to start off with a Minor. In solo, I like to start with majors, but in multiplayer, I think that minors have more utility with Serpent. Part of that is that in multiplayer, we've got a bit of a higher chance of getting to the late game where we can actually play a bunch of cards, and also the major power deck is a lot easier to fund when you're absorbing your own essence in solo. So that's a difference between solo and multiplayer Serpent, and that's also going to increase the odds that we take our energy spike at some point. So we'll gain a minor power. Got a few options here. Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth has nice elements. We really like Moon and Earth on a single card because it helps us get the second level of our Serpent Rouses in Anger innate. And Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth is also kind of nice right now because it could actually solve one of our sands pretty nicely. Reaching Grasp is often useful, and on Serpent is actually really interesting because Serpent Rouses in Anger is a range 0 power. So if you can use Reaching Grasp, you'd rather have another spirit use it on you because you're pretty constrained on card plays early on. But Reaching Grasp is really useful if you get to the late game where you can play a bunch of cards at once. Call to Isolation is a great card in general. Dahan movement on Serpent can be really important because we have great defense but not a great ability to interact with Dahan. I believe Serpent is the only one of the base 12 spirits that doesn't actually have a way to move Dahan in its starting kit, which is pretty surprising actually when you think about it. Savage Maw Beasts is a neat little damaging power. The elements aren't great for us. Fire is good, but animal's kind of meaningless. And so The damage isn't that great, and we're probably not going to threshold it, so that's sort of off the table. Of these, I'd say either Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth or Call to Isolation is our best bet. Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth if I decide to go back on my offer of playing Gift of Primordial Deeps turn 1, just to take out the town that they build in land 5 and worry about defending somewhere else. Or Call to Isolation if I want some utility for later on in the game. So I guess this is actually where I turn to you, John, and say, do you want Primordial Deeps turn 1? Or are you okay without
I
it?
feel like playing with another shifting memories. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give you elements. You know, I'm gonna give you elemental teachings and give you all these elements and be like, oh, actually, I want these from. So I'm used to support players, turning their back on me on turn one.
All right. Well, I'll turn my back on you for now, and I'll just solve my land. In exchange, I'm going to be able to grow to land 4 or potentially land 3, in order to set up Elemental Aegis on lands 3 on my board and 2 on your board. 2 on your
Okay.
board probably isn't going to matter. I assume that's going to be a better site for a Concealing Shadows play.
Yes, is what I was gonna go for land two on seaboard.
All right. Well, I'm still going to jump over to your Sacred Site in land 4. Serpent, I always like to grow from the bottom track twice to begin, just because that second card play is so huge. And we get all these lovely elements later on, plus this Reclaim 1, but getting to that second card play right away is really big. All right, so I'm going to do that. Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth. John, if you want to do your shadow stuff.
So I think are all our sands covered then? Well, you still want to defend somewhere
Well, I'm gonna
because
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
I'm gonna
tar
defend B3 with
Okay.
Aegis. So I don't have anything for C6 unless you're getting that with your innate.
Yeah, I was gonna do that with the innate, and I was gonna see where I can mantle. Once I don't mantle, I might not mantle. I should have been thinking about this while you were having your talk, right?
That's fine. Do you wanna grow over to my board instead of growing into land 2 and grow into land 2 next turn? Because then you could crops turn 1 instead of mantle.
Let me go. What is it okay if I go to B6 then?
Yeah, sure. That'd be a pretty solid mantle target, or a crops target, either one.
Yeah, just in case we get a wetlands explore.
Yep. All right. We'll finish playing cards. We'll go in here. Shadows is gonna have some fast stuff. Serpent's not gonna do anything till the slow. And
I am just gathering the explorer into C7.
gotcha. Invaders build and explore the mountains. Lovely.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to pull Beneath the Hungry Earth, take out the town in B5.
I'm gathering Dahan into C2. And mantle. I might group up or push the town towards one of the Dahan, either in B1 or B8. Just sometimes spear cards do that. I kind of want to get things closer to the coast.
Yeah, I would
Would you be
prefer
okay
I
with
would
your
prefer
town?
B1. So
Yeah. Almost to a fear card. We'll have it by next turn for the Ravage.
yep. All right, now turn 2 with Serpent. I'm going to place Presence again, and sort of the question becomes: do I really want to move a Presence with my Reclaim option, or do I want to gain another power card? And here, I'd really rather gain another power card and just play Absorb Essence plus Elemental Aegis this turn, or potentially a different defend card if that becomes an option. But we'll see what we get. So I'm going to gain a power. I'm going to go for the minor deck again. And we've got Gift of Constancy, which is really nice in general. Serpent's already pretty supportive, and Gift of Constancy just gets them another excellent support power. Plus, it lets them recycle some of their other powers so that you can play it alongside an Elemental Aegis, for example, and get the Elemental Aegis back. Call of the Dahan Ways is nice. That Moon element is good for us, as well as the ability just to replace invaders with Dahan is huge. So that can be a really good choice. Delusions of Danger I don't like that much on Serpent. The elements are okay, but it's one I wouldn't really take unless I was playing with events and was worried about like a Missionaries coming up and I didn't have any other Sun cards.
I like Delusions with Foreboding because of Fast Fear.
Yes.
It's
very good with Foreboding Shadows, but unfortunately we don't have aspects, so...
No!
Yeah. Sap the Strength of Multitudes is a really interesting one. I'm not currently in Land 3, but I could take Sap the Strength of Multitudes and play that instead of using Elemental Aegis this turn and save Aegis for the next turn. And then that would let me defend both 7 and 3, B7 and C3 next turn. Although I'm assuming, John, that you'll pull the Explorer from C3 into C2, or...
Yes.
Did you have another plan? Okay. So that's not actually going to be an issue then. And then we're probably not going to get Aegis high enough to actually defend land B2, so that's more likely to just turn into either a sacrificial land or somewhere that we're going to have to deal with by growing in there and using our innate powers. So, of these, I really do kind of like all of them except Delusions of Danger, just for the reason that it's a little limited right now. I think what I'm going to do here is take Gift of Constancy, just because Shadows is a little short on energy, and I think that getting them more energy is going to do us a lot more than making more Dahan or getting Serpent an extra defend card. We're not going to play Gift of Constancy this turn, but we are going to keep it in our kit for later on. As for our presence growth, I would really like to be able to destroy a town this turn with the combination of elements that I get from Elemental Aegis and Absorb Essence. And so the question is really, where do I want to destroy that town? I'm not going to be able to get enough damage to actually take out a city, or else I would go into land 2 or 7 for sure. And so I think what I'm going to do is just place presence into land 7 and use that and solve that land by destroying the town there. So we'll get our second card play Aegis and Absorb Essence, and finish playing cards. And Shadow's got Land of Haunts and Embers. Lovely.
Yeah, I also did a card draw and I picked up Land of Haunts and Embers, so we're blighting.
That's fine. It's going to be worth it. All right.
I'm going to play Concealing Shadows before you absorb me, if that's okay. I'm going to do it in C2.
Yes. So this is another fun trick with this particular pairing, is that Absorb Essence lets me eat Shadow's presence that it's got in a sacrificial place for a Concealing Shadows play. So I can go ahead and take their presence from C2 for a benefit, which gives them an element, gives them an energy, and more importantly, it helps me get my Deep Slumber track. And then they don't lose that presence to the Ravage, which is really nice.
I went for a water because I was thinking of Years of Little Rain, but then I forgot we're not doing events, so there's that.
That's fair. You weren't going to hit any thresholds anyway, so...
So now I have level 2 of Darkness Swallows. I potentially could stop a city build with Land of Haunts and Embers if I target C7 and push that town.
Sure.
And then push it to me. In 5, C5, where I can crops.
Yep. And then you'll kill the 2 explorers to clear 7 instead of 3.
I know you went through this whole great plan of B7. I could push like the town into B4, and you can destroy it there, and I could destroy or stop 2 builds in C3 and B7.
Sure.
But then
if you want to push the town into C4 instead, then I can destroy that town in the slow, and then I
Right.
can Aegis. I'm probably going to reclaim next turn, so I can Aegis and hit 3 different mountains with Aegis,
Okay.
which isn't going to be quite enough, but it'll still be pretty good.
And then the fear card will take away that explorer in C7. Trust the cards.
Hopefully. Or actually, what wasn't I going to Aegis to handle those two, and you handle C7?
Oh. Let's undo.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I miscommunicated there.
Boom.
There we
Solved.
go. Fear card would have solved it.
That's trust the cards. Um, sh- can I push the B7, or would you like me to
Yeah.
push something else?
Do you wanna shove B7 into B5, and then I'll shove both of them into B1? And just like that, the inland is largely under control.
Yeah. Well done.
Yep, jungle in B8 doesn't explore. It's great. All right, and then Serpent rouses in anger. I'm going to take out that town in C4 um, and get us a little more fear.
I could use the Shadow Special Roll and target C3, but it would cost me an energy, but get rid of the town. I'm just not sure if cost is worth it unless I target B1.
I don't think you need to do that because I'm gonna Aegis their next turn anyway.
Two fear it is.
Um, Now this is the point where it's turn 3. With Serpent, I'm going to start going into sort of a reclaim loop to try and spam Elemental Aegis as much as I can, just because it's such a powerful card. It's less important now because we did solve a couple of the mountains to get the AoE defense, but I'm going to see if I can do enough to get land 2 solved as well. So we'll reclaim cards. I'm going to move the presence that I put in B7 into B4. That both sets us up to deal with the town that the Explorer builds there, as well as setting us up for pretty good Mountains Elemental Aegis. And I'm going to place another presence on the board, and I'm going to grow from the top track this time, getting an extra fire. Work our way up to that Reclaim 1 spot. The water isn't too important on Serpent. I really like to go bottom twice and then all the way down the top. And is there anywhere you need me to be?
No,
Your
wherever
board
you
is
think
this
is
nice
best.
little band of blight that I can't really grow on.
But barely any buildings.
Yes, that's true. I don't think I have anything fast to help with B2, so I'm not going to bother going in there. So I'm just gonna grow to B3 because it's a decent Aegis target for next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Which I might not reclaim next turn, depending on what we do to solve the jungles. So
I did pick up steam vents, and with my mate, I can stop the builds on two of our boards, or
okay.
like two lands of the three.
I think I'm at 4 out of 7 presents. I'm actually not going to play Aegis this turn unless you need the element and energy. I was going to play Gift of
No.
Constancy instead. Or not Aegis, Absorb Essence is what I meant. So you actually could use a moon element.
It wouldn't hurt.
Although there isn't really a great spot to destroy 2 explorers. But you could still use it.
It would just be I would target probably C3 and gather the explorer out of B4 and destroy those two explorers.
Sure. I guess the question then is just, do you want Gift of Constancy or do you want Elemental Aegis? I can play either one of them and still destroy the town in B4.
Let's do elemental Aegis.
Sorry, not elemental.
I'm
Just
okay with
gift of
that.
constancy or absorb essence.
Let's go Essence.
Essence. All right. So I'm gonna finish playing cards. And then where do you want me to... Well, you get to pick where you absorb essence from.
I Do you still need me over in B6?
No. I think we've got the board actually surprisingly well locked down for how early in the game it is. If only we
Thank you
had
for the
one more
defense.
defense in B4 or B2, but such is life. One
Now,
thing...
does base game have like the well? There is the like defend one in all lands and stuff in base game for fear cards.
Yeah, no. There's definitely fear cards that could bail us out here. So, I'm not
Ooh,
actually good. I actually don't have a good target for Serpent Rouses in Anger, but that's fine. Because I forgot you had Steam Vents, so
Would you like me not to use Steep Ments?
no, that's fine.
I'm trying to limit explores.
Yeah.
I might,
Are you gonna Haunts and Embers?
I'm thinking about. Is it okay if we take another blight?
Yeah, yeah. We won't flip the card even if you do that. Not at base difficulty. All right, we can swap a town for an explorer and a coastal land.
And that should stop us from blighting.
That'll stop us from blighting in B2, so that's really nice. And then I'll take out B1 as well, because C3 is about to get destroyed. And then... we remove an invader from a land with 2 or fewer. Well, I guess that solves C3 as well.
I kind of want the fear from C3.
Unfortunately, that one wasn't a May effect, so...
Yeah.
Would be nice, but... And Shadow's
No
board
bill.
is clear, I'd like to point out, on turn 3.
Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad.
I still don't have a good target for Serpent Rouses and Anger, so I'm just gonna play it and get 2 fear somewhere. So we really just need to take out that city and we're golden. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and grab a major this turn because I'm sitting pretty well on cash or pretty well on energy. And if we get something like a Talons of Lightning, we can just win this turn.
I could also crops. If we
That's
need
true. Let's see. I can do... Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth won't do enough damage. Although if I grow there and I have my innate power, I can probably win it for us in the slow. But I think it'd be easier to... If we can get a major that does it, that's great. Hey, look, I drew Talons of Lightning.
Hey, there it is. Hey!
So this game's just going to end there. Winds of Rust and Atrophy would also do it here, because we can stop the build in C3. And between Winds of Rust and Atrophy and Crops Wither and Fade, we could downgrade it, I think. No, actually, because they'd build a town first. Or they'd build first before the crops. So Talons it is. I'm gonna forget Absorb Essence for the lulls.
Thanks for that gift of constancy this game. That was real fun.
Yeah. I offered to play it last turn.
Okay. No, actually, that moon element was helpful.
Okay. Well, I'll play Gift of Constancy on you this turn, because I can't afford anything else.
For the lulls.
So Gift of Constancy, and then Talons of Lightning to finish off the game. So yeah, that's Serpent. Serpent and Shadows. Obviously can be a little supportive and, get those elements to just power up your teammates, as well as getting a little bit of extra energy to help with, in this case, Shadow's energy problems. And then can also just shift to majors on a dime and win the game directly. So Serpent is definitely a very powerful
spirit. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty fun, or how much one element can go for a certain spirit, like having one moon for shadows, or a fire for lightning, or water for river.
Absolutely.
Just being able to gift one element is pretty huge in this game.
Yeah. But yeah, in closing, I'd say Serpent's a really powerful spirit. On high difficulties, sometimes you don't want to play those support powers turn 1. You want to absorb and then reclaim absorb essence. Because that way you can set yourself up for much higher elemental Aegis defense if you play Absorb Essence like 3 times in the first 3 turns. In this game, we had that moment where we were going to take 6 damage and we only had defend 4. If instead of giving John a card on turn 1, I had gone and... Or not, I didn't even give you a card on turn 1. Instead of destroying that town on turn 1, if I'd absorbed Essence, I could have done a little bit more there. So, there's a lot to be done with Serpent. They can turn into sort of just a defensive turret with Elemental Aegis, but they have a lot of potential in a lot of different directions, and I hope this has helped you see some of them. Thanks for watching. Thanks, John, for joining me. And if you've got any thoughts or comments or questions, let us know in the comments below or join us on Discord. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye.